country music fans, thank you so much for tuning into this episode of Coda Country Chats. I'm Leigh, your host, and today I am joined by this powerhouse vocalist. I cannot wait for you to meet Erin Kirby. How are you, Erin?
I am doing so well. How are you?
I am fantastic today. Oh my gosh, it's Fantastic Friday, New Music Friday. And listeners out there, Erin just dropped a new single called Make a Move off of her upcoming EP, In and Out of Love, coming November 7th. So let's talk a little bit about this single, a little like background to begin. I was getting ready for the call today, sitting in my bathroom, and I asked Alexa to play music for me, just, put on whatever. And I had heard Make a Move as I was making our new music playlist this morning, but it was midnight. So I don't remember much after I went to sleep. So it started playing again. And I was like, "Oh, I like this song." And then I realized, I looked up and I was like, I'm talking to her today. Oh my gosh.
That's amazing.
So
Thank you.
yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, of course I loved it when I first heard it, but then I heard it again, in my awakeness. So let's chit chat about the single itself. How did it come to be? Tell me about the process of writing it. I love to hear that story.
Yes, I wrote this song with Joe Clemens and Andrew Beeson, two of my favorite people. And it was actually my first time writing with Joe, but now we've written so many times and he is so incredible. This song, it's crazy. The idea came to me when I was just driving in the car. And I think that I had either watched a Golden Girls episode the night before that stemmed this idea, but I was slightly going through this feeling of, honestly, I wrote this a little bit about music. Can we just move? Can we do something? Or am I just gonna keep running into a wall? What is going on? And I just feel like sometimes it's easier to move on from something if there is a distraction or that thing you're moving on from has already made its move, you know? And that's exactly what this song is all about. So it's in the form of a relationship. I feel like I have definitely been there, and I feel like I know so many people that have been there as well. But I love that when you listen to this song, maybe you're not going through that, but you could relate it to something like a friendship or a job. I just feel like it's so important to make sure that music is relatable all around.
That's so true because I didn't even think about it in the aspect of a job or something else outside of relationship. But it's so true. Sometimes you just have to see other things going well for other people for you to be like, okay, it's my turn. I can have my own stuff now. I can feel good about whatever I'm going through and loving it and being okay
Right.
with that. No, that's so true. Talk to me and tell the listeners a little bit about the recording process as far as what made you decide to put this song on the EP? How long did it take you to record it from start to finish? I'd love to know all those stories too.
So we wrote this song in February of this year, I believe.
Wow.
And it was immediate, everybody was in agreement. This song had to be out. But we knew it wanted to be on something that's a little bit bigger than just a single. However, we felt it deserved to be a single. So that's where the EP came into play and making sure that this was a single to trail into the EP. Aaron S. Seiss, he produced this. He is also one of my favorite people. I feel like everyone that was a part of this EP and this song were just great people, and that makes the process so much easier. We honestly did it so quickly. I think that we recorded it in a day or two, and he finished up a little bit of things on the production. We wanted to keep it very stripped back, have a country Adele feel. And I feel like we definitely hit the nail on the head there. And that's exactly what happened for this. It was an easy process for production.
Country Adele, I feel like is very much your MO, very much your vibe, and I'm
Thank
about
you.
it. So I'm sure you heard that before. What's funny to me is there's a specific vocal run that you do at the end of the second chorus, I think it is. And as soon as I heard it playing through my bathroom this morning, I was trying to do it myself, and I was like, I'm not Erin. I'm not going to be as good as her. But I was like, ooh, that is saucy. I like that right there. So
Thank you.
yes,
Thank you.
you
Yeah,
and your,
I've really been wanting to challenge myself with an
yeah.
ascending run. And I feel like this is the perfect song to just go for it.
Right, because it makes a move, right? You're making that move and seeing what else is out there. I love that. No, that's so, I don't know, that's genius.
Thank
Genius in the
you.
making
Thank
right there.
you.
Of course. Let's go back and talk a little bit about your single from August, Nowhere Everywhere, which I think is that title is very kind of thought provoking because when you look at it before you listen to it, you're like, what's going on in the song? So tell the listeners, what's this song about? How did it come to be? I'd love to know more about it.
Yes, I wrote this song with Aaron Armstrong, Sydney Cubitt, and Mitch Kriego, and this was actually a title that Sydney had, and I was hooked. I was like, "We gotta figure something out. I don't know what this means, but we gotta figure
Awesome.
it out." And this song, I feel like it fell from the sky. It was a short session. The words were just flowing. The melodies of this song are so fun. We just decided to kind of break some rules, put 100 different melodies into this song, and see what happens. Love it. It's the perfect kind of tempo song for myself.
Yes.
I was so excited to release this song.
Well, and you know what's funny is that listening to this one, because is this that was the first single that you released for the EP, right? Okay. And then hearing this is the like juxtaposition or almost like, I don't want to call it a contradiction, but they are very different. And so hearing both of them kind of back to back in my little listening session this morning, I was like, this kind of works though for the EP. I can't wait to hear more of this, like the songs from it, just to kind of see like the bridge of how it all comes together as a collection. Nowhere Everywhere, again, like you were saying, is kind of one of those tempo songs, but it still has a lot of feeling. Sometimes I feel like with tempo, you get a lot of like fluff and you get of like good vibes, but you don't get a lot of like deeper emotional
Right.
input to it. And I still feel like this song kind of brought forth like a good little emotional aspect to it.
Yes.
So yeah, I don't know.
There's definitely a bittersweet feeling of
Yes,
finding your person because it can be really hard. It can be hard going on all of these dates and having these terrible experiences. But when you meet that right person, it is just like, it all makes sense. And I feel like we captured that in this song.
for sure. Oh my gosh. Okay. So moving on to a little bit more of the EP. Okay. In and Out of Love is not a title for one of the songs on the EP. Is it a lyric or is it just one of those titles that you were like, this sounds like exactly what I'm describing? What do you
It
go
is
for?
a lyric, and believe it or not, it has a crazy story. I had 5 songs picked out for this EP. I was ready to go, and we were going to record all of the music the following week. And I was going into a songwriting session, I think it was like a Wednesday, and I told my co-writers, "I'm putting out this project, I'm recording it next week, and I have all the songs, so we don't need to, like, go ahead and work towards that. We'll just work towards releases for 2026." And one of my co-writers, Ryan Cohn, was like, I think that we can beat something. I don't know what we're going to beat, but we're going to do it. And we wrote this song that was the perfect piece for this EP. It's literally so perfect that I ended up titling it something from a lyric of one of the songs. So
Aw.
that was crazy. This EP would not be what it is without that song. And I'm so grateful that we wrote it just in time.
Yay! Okay, so which song's it from?
It is from Whiskey Does. It's the middle song. It's the
Whiskey
breaking
Does.
point. It is a heavy song.
Ugh, I know. But you know what's funny is that I feel like Make a Move was not a heavy song, and then Nowhere Everywhere is not a heavy song.
Right.
So it's right there in the middle, right where it should be, right? Like you gotta feel a little bit of that, little bit of that weight, little bit of heaviness, just to
Yeah.
feel what we're going through. That's funny. So wait, okay. So now I'm looking. Did you kick one of your songs off of the EP to still make it a 5-song EP?
I did. I did. I feel so bad for that song, but I love that song. So don't
Yeah,
worry, it will come out one day. The
for
world will
sure.
hear that song because I freaking love it. But Whiskey Does really matched the rest of these songs so much better.
Yeah. And sometimes you find that, like, with an EP, you just have to fit the collection. I know, like, I always think of like fashion designers and they're like, oh, this doesn't go in the collection. And so
Yeah.
they'll just like trash it or whatever. But it's and not trash it. Like, that's not,
Yeah. 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 They just put
but
it
if
aside.
it, right, if it doesn't match, if it doesn't go, if it doesn't flow, then, you want to find something that does. And so I can't wait to hear the rest of it. Oh my gosh.
Oh, cute.
Okay. I love asking this question to all my songwriters. Is there a song on this EP that you would call a labor of love song? So, like, maybe it wasn't a song that just fell out of the sky, as you described, Nowhere Everywhere. Maybe it was one of those songs that was just not coming together, but you were like, this is such a good idea. I want it to work. And maybe you had to put it down and come back to it. Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, no. All of these songs fell out of the sky. They were truly given by the Lord. I believe that. They were so easy to write. They were done in a day.
Oh my gosh. That is amazing. And maybe it's just because you have such a great chemistry with your co-writers, or maybe you just have fantastic ideas either that you bring to the table or that, others bring to the table with you. But man, that is a blessing. Oh my gosh.
Absolutely.
Amazing.
Yes, absolutely. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, you know?
That's it, girl. That is it. Oh my gosh. Okay. I do want to bring up something a little bit from your past, but
Okay.
before I bring it up, because it's a little juicy, I'd love to let the listeners know a little bit about your upbringing because you're 21, 22, right?
Yes,
Going into
yes.
that little era of life. I'd love to know where you were from and a little bit about how you got started with music. And then I'll get into my little insights in just a bit. So go ahead.
I'm so interested to hear what this question is. Well, I am from a very small town called Jasper, Georgia. It is in the mountains. It is absolutely beautiful, and everyone that lives there is just so happy, and they're the best people.
Of
I
course.
was raised in Jasper. I always say that we did all the redneck things. We just didn't listen to redneck music. I grew up on a lot of R&B, hip hop, pop, and old rock, but never country. But I loved music. Always knew that I wanted to be in music or a singer of some kind. When I'm like
Mhm.
5 years old, I'm dreaming that I'm going to be a Barbie vet that also performs to all of her clients. Like, what the heck? And I wanted to do a pageant. I told my mom, "Hey, can I do a pageant?" And my mom and dad were like, "You can, but you do know you're gonna have to like paint your fingernails. You can't just have dirt underneath them." And I was like, "Yeah, that's fine. Like I can make it work for a Saturday." So we did pageants. They put me into natural pageants. It was very focused on talent and community service. So I feel like that has
Mhm.
totally made me into the woman that I am today. I knew that as soon as I stepped on that stage, music was for me. And that's kind of where it started.
I'm so glad that you brought up pageants. First of all, I'm also from Georgia. I'm from like the opposite side of the state, though. Yes. So I'm from Southwest Georgia. I live close to Lake Seminole, which is like almost Alabama, almost Florida. Anyway,
Okay.
I live in that little corner. Yeah, random. But it's so funny that you brought up pageants because I was also a pageant girl. And I remember seeing you on Kim of Queens. That was like one of my favorite shows. Oh my gosh. That's amazing. Cause like you were a little thing. Like how old were you when you were on that episode?
I was 9 years old. Literally
My
insane. I
gosh.
was a babe.
No, that's so funny that you brought up pageants because I was like, this is what I want to ask her. I remember Erin Kirby on this episode. Yeah, because I was like going through, I think it might have been your bio when I saw it, but yes, I was like an avid watcher of Kim Gravel because like she was a beauty queen and I loved watching all kinds of like I got out of pageants for a little while just because it was after a like whenever I was growing up, it was fun because a lot of my friends were doing it. And it also made me a very great public speaker, which is why I love to do this. Um,
Yes.
but, but as I got older, like I just found that, I don't know, I wanted to do other things. And so I don't know, but I still had a love for pageantry. I still had a love for the sport. You know what I mean? So what made you decide that music was kind of where you were going to steer your boat as soon as you like graduated?
So I actually finished pageants. I think the last one I did, I was 12. And when I was 9 years old, I was competing on a national level. I was competing against a girl whose father was very big in the music industry. And during talent, he came, he brought me his card and was like, "Hey, we'd love to meet with you. You're so talented." And I'm 9 years old. So we did not pursue that. However, it did give
Right.
me the confidence to think, hey, maybe I should like pick up an instrument or maybe
Yeah.
play karaoke or an open mic. And I just did it all. I did it all. And then at 12, I started co writing. And that made me realize, like you said, pageants are wonderful. But once you kind of get a little bit older, you have to choose, are you going to dedicate your life to pageantry or is there something else you're more passionate about? And for me, it
Yeah.
was music. So I knew that I had to give my all to music. So I quit the pageants and just jumped right into music. Came up to Nashville, was co-writing and did all the things.
I love to hear that. And it's so great to kind of follow the story of growing up in a small town, not really being a fan of country music, but music like being part of you, and then like the countryside of where you lived also being a part of you, and it just developed into this soulful, like down to earth, still very, I don't know, smooth is what I would call your sound.
Yes,
Smooth.
thank
That's what I
you,
would call it.
thank you.
Of course. Okay, so let's talk, just bounce back to the EP a little bit. What are the plans for you between now and then as far as like rolling out the EP? Like, do you have any big like party plan? Do you have any big social media stuff planned? I don't know. I love to hear all of those details, you know?
There are a lot of details that I'm still working out. I am hoping to do an EP release show, so more to come on that once we have it all
Awesome.
figured out. And of course, always taking to social media. Maybe we'll do something fun. But for now, just kind of making all the content because there's so many songs and so many videos to make. And I just want to make sure that the songs are showcased the best. And when you only have 30 seconds to a minute of time, it's like, I
I
just
know.
want you to hear the whole thing already. So that's my focus right now.
Isn't it crazy that the attention span of the average American is now like 10 seconds or less? And then you have to like grab them. And then if you don't, they're just gone. And that's frustrating sometimes, isn't it? Frustrating because you
Yes.
just want them to sit and you just want them to enjoy. But
No, I know, but I am also guilty of scrolling a little too fast. So
I am too. I will say, I don't know. I think great music though kind of stops me in my tracks sometimes, and I'm very thankful for that because I don't know. It helps me like get through my day a little bit
yeah,
of like hearing really good music and really good songs. Let's talk a little bit more too cuz we talked about you being country Adele, right? That's your vibe. You also were just talking about how like R&B, classic rock, hip hop, isn't that crazy how small towns kind of function like that? Like, whenever I was growing up, no one listened to country music. Like, it was taboo. And, like, I wouldn't say I would be ashamed of it, but, like, people would, I wouldn't say make fun of me either, but still, it was like, oh, you're listening to country.
right.
I don't know why that is. That's so crazy. Who would you say were your biggest influences as far as your sound vocally, your sound sonically, especially putting out this EP? Who would you say kind of influenced that the most?
Yeah. I'm gonna throw out a lot of random names that I feel like
Perfect.
really have
Yes.
put this project together. Starting with one that's not very random. Drew Parker is one of my biggest
Oh,
influences. I feel like his
love that guy.
songwriting is so great. So songwriting wise, definitely him. Chris Stapleton, of course, with the soulful sound, yet still remaining very minimal in the production.
Yeah.
Adele, I said that. And then another one would be Jessie J. She is one of my biggest
Oh,
influences as a vocalist, but also as a human. She's the nicest human in the world. And I'm so inspired by her and her passion for what she does. But she's not afraid to limit herself. If the rest of the world is doing one thing, she's always doing the complete opposite. And I just love that about her.
that's true. And vocally, she's such a beast. It like comes out of nowhere. I feel like.
Yes. She inspires me to
Yes.
sing the notes and to just do it because what's the worst
Just
that can
do that.
happen?
That's right. Exactly.
I'm so grateful that my mom, she was a painter, and so she always told me that there's artists like Picasso because if everybody painted the same thing or we all wore the same color, this would be a really boring world. And so just like that, music is the same way. And there's so many different vocal tones doesn't mean that you have to love them all, but music isn't boring because everybody has their own style.
That's true. And everybody likes certain things, you know? It's like I feel like even artist to artist, like I'll like a few songs from an artist and then maybe be like, maybe not so much on that.
Yeah.
But that's just the beauty of range, you know? And talking about your EP, especially the two singles that I've heard so far, that shows a lot of range. I think. I think it gives like a little bit of everything just from
Yeah.
those two songs that I've heard so far. So
Thank
yay.
you. Thank you so much.
Erin, it's been such a lovely experience getting to talk with you today. I think this has been so, so great. Before we hop off the call, is there anything else that you'd like to promote or anybody that you like to give a shout out to?
Thing that we haven't really talked about is the Lord. And I just want to say, if you don't know Jesus, please get to know him because he has a special path laid out for you. And I'm just so thankful for the gift that he has given me. So,
I love hearing that, Erin. And, you know, I think I've said this before in one of the podcasts with another artist, but that's another thing that I love about country music is that you don't have to be afraid to just say how you feel and admit that you're a believer. Because in like, I mean, even as I don't know, there are other jobs out there, there are other positions out there or platforms out there that don't want artists or don't want employees to speak up and like state their faith or be as upfront about it or and I don't think faith should be some kind of controversial thing. You know,
Absolutely.
I think just being who you are and being able to, admit that you are a shining bright light for the Lord is a glorious thing. And I don't know why the other people are put off by that. But I really thank you for saying that because man, that just makes me love you even more, girl.
Of
Oh my
course, I
goodness.
mean, that's the whole reason we're here. So I'm
That's
so,
it.
so grateful that we got to talk today. Thank you so much.
Yes, me too. Listeners out there, make sure that you check out Erin Kirby. Shout out your social media handles so we can make sure that we're following you.
It is easy peasy. It's Erin Kirby Music. Erin spelled the girl way, Kirby like the vacuum or the pink thing.
Or the pink thing. No, oh gosh, please go follow Erin. And also make sure that you go stream Make a Move that just released today, New Music Friday, 10, 10, 10 out of 10, I would say,
Thank
ladies and
you.
gentlemen. And the EP is coming up on November 7th, In and Out of Love. Oh my gosh, we cannot wait to hear that EP, Erin. Thank you so
Thank
much for
you.
sharing more about it. Yeah,
Yes, thank
absolutely.
you.
And listeners out there, y'all have a great day. Have a good one, Erin. See you later.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.